Welcome. How is your Saturday going? My household and I are still, like all of us, super sick, and everyone's just kind of lounging around. And typically, I'll do a challenge for you on a Friday or a Saturday, but this is just one of those moments where I would rather connect a little bit more personally, being that I'm so unwell. I would rather connect a little bit more in readings than I would challenge with different beings coming in and out. Yeah. So here are the suggestions to get the best higher self message. Don't be general. Asking a general question from a channel is a little bit like going to the universe saying, hey, what kind of house do I live in? And the universe says, the world. And you go, oh. So if you ask a general question, you get really, really general answers. So that's just something to know. All right. Let me see if I can pull up the chat so that I can see you. Jamie S. And anyone who asked this question, you may or may not be satiated with the what is my purpose in this lifetime? You may not be satiated with that answer, because purpose is a vibration that we typically extend through one of the graces, and it's not an action. So a lot of people think it is to do this kind of career or that kind of career. So when you're asking for purpose, the right way to get a reading with that is a little bit more like, what is my purpose and mission? What sacred action can I work towards to accomplish my mission and my purpose? Right? That's a better way to ask that question. Because otherwise, we've been conditioned to to believe that purpose is something that's going to help us survive and make money. Yeah, that's thank your parents and religion and education and all the conditioned systems. Yeah. What do I need to know about my mission at this time? Okay, we'll start there, Luke. Higher self says abundance can be welcomed where abundance originally resides. So when you're working in your mission right now and you're stepping forth in your sacred action, the vision that I'm getting from your higher self is, well, it's sort of like they're giving me this image of this big jigsaw puzzle with millions of pieces, and one piece is the heart, and one piece is the brain, and one piece is represented by the organs of the body, the central nervous system, the immunological system, etc. And the overall purpose right now is to bring systems together at a very practical level for people, to light them up by experiencing what would otherwise be, higher self says, fractionalized versions of their divinity that perhaps they've hidden away. Perhaps they've had so much darkness and they're in so much survival mode that they don't know how to light that part of their soul contracts up. So for some people, you'll need vibrations and sound healing. For some people, you'll need mystical teachings. For some people you'll need the healing arts and healers to work with them. So there's something about your sacred action right now that is a lot like that giant jigsaw puzzle, helping people pull from the different components of what they need for healing, to help them in different ways. Do you understand? Yeah. The best way to capture my attention for a reading is, by the way, to not give me a general question, because we're talking to the higher self and they could give you something that'll blow your mind right now. But the what do I need to know right now is probably not going to blow your mind, even though you can ask it. It's not going to be a mind blowing answer because they'll tell you something and you'll be like, oh, I know that. You know what I mean? Okay, so Tanya, purpose again is a vibration. Healing is more of it's more of an ability that taps into a deeper mission for you, right? So it's really important to understand the sacred action in the vibrations of how you really want um, to heal. How do you want to reach them? Why do you want to reach them? There's something in you that wants to reach people, but you're kind of like higher self's giving me the chicken running around with their head cut off vision. So put your head on and then ask your heart, stop and breathe and ask your heart, how specifically do I want to reach people? What is really comfortable for me right now? Because that's going to change, right? Robin, thank you so much for that super chat. This is really specific. I like it. This is a good higher self question. Robin says, I'm having a challenging relationship that I haven't experienced before, and I'm curious about why I chose this and what could be learned. Oh, so higher self says, you can pretty much love and absolutely fall in love with love itself. You could love anyone, but do you want to? This is the lesson right now, because you're being shown all of the ways to catalyze yourself through that person. They are throwing your entire past from like age 14 to age 27, I say, all of that. and they're catalyzing you with it and projecting it back onto you and making it your problem. And then gaslighting you a little bit unintentionally, but still, gaslighting is gaslighting, whether a person is aware of it or not. But there's this kind of circling going on. And the image that your higher self is giving me is sort of like how lions circle their prey. You know how wild animals circle their prey and then they circle in closer and then they circle in closer and then they circle in closer. And you just think that maybe you're having interesting conversations that lead towards something and you grow, right? No, you're being circled. Like, and in the wild, higher self says that's when they're going to eat you. So don't let your fears get the best and go forth really, really strongly. Oh, what a cool name. Awe, abundance, wellness, and empowerment. I love that. Thank you for the super chat. So back to you. With this one, you really need to understand that communication is key, but really authentic, truthful, honest communication without even any fear of what that person is going to say and how they're going to reciprocate your love and your light and your joy and your honesty. They can't. It's like they don't have the capacity. And when you love someone that doesn't have the capacity to do that and be where you are, you rather love them anyway, or you what? Leave. And that's really your choice. But this is a karmic soulmate connection, is what your higher self is sharing. So painful, and then you work it out, and then it's nice, Yeah. Okay. JJ. Are you the JJ that I know? I can't tell. Probably are, but let me see if I can tap into you and find out. JJ, with your answer here, she holds that back, and she's going to continue holding that back until she finds you a safe person to fall in love with. She has feelings, but she views you as kind of this, higher self says, this creative, talented misanthrope who kind of can't get his life together. And she wants to view you as kind of this solid person that she can count on. And she's starting to finally view you that way, which is the good news. The hard news is you don't view yourself that way. And then she gets confused about her emotions. So she's like, woo, choo, 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 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 4 steps forward, 3 steps back. You know? So just pay attention. And when you think there's something there, don't ask me, ask her. She would gladly tell you if she felt that you were even available. It's like there's a part of her that thinks you're not available in the way that would work for her. What is my animal? Holt. Is it Charmaine? You mean spirit animal? Higher self says it is an owl, but not the snowing one. They're showing me a different kind that's bigger, really big, and silvery gray, huge, beautiful. Brenda Barnett, thank you for that super chat. Okay. What is blocking me from healing completely? From cancer. Oh my, Susan. Okay. Higher self answer. I want you to really hear me on this. Cancer is helping you reach people that would have otherwise be unreachable. Cancer is teaching you something about your capacity as healer. Cancer is empowering you. It will be healed when your full capacity as a healer just lights up, which is happening right now. This is the year for that. So that's the good news. But it's something about your distant family, not your close family, but 2 people in more of not under your household, but your next closest in line outside of your house. They're reaching each other, and they never would have before. And they're talking, even though they're fighting, they're talking. Something's happening, and you having cancer is going to heal them. This is hard when we have these kind of contracts, and then, us being sick can heal someone, but that's what's going on, and it's activating your capacity as a healer as well. April Coleman, you are having, to answer your question from higher self, you are having what's called precognitive download. So that's like a clear knowing, claircognition, clear knowing, and precognition, and a little bit of retrocognition whenever it helps. In the clear knowing in the moment, you'll tap into the Akasha as well, but you are definitely tapping in for premonitions. And it's not, precognition and claircognition are not easy gifts to have, because the visions you have are difficult things and painful things, and deaths and illnesses and so many things. So, oh my goodness. I suggest you ground. Higher self is saying ground, and do something really specific. Get yourself some lemon balm tea, lemon balm, BALM. That is your specific herb right now that would clear you and ground you and keep you really keeping your energy very grounded. As you amplify this ability, it's going to be harder on the body and the mind. So higher self suggests you get back into a sport that you thought that you used to love it, but you don't do it anymore because of an injury. So go back slowly, and this will ground you back in with Gaia and Mother Earth for a little while. Okay. But yes, you are having it, and it's just not the easiest thing. Awe, abundance, wellness, and empowerment. You should give me your first name next time you ask a question. What is my role in Lemuria? Let me ask. You were, according to the vision that your higher self is showing me in your Akashic records, you were there smack at the beginning of the Atlantean Lemurian War, and you had that whole inkling of wanting to stand forth and lead and be in a leadership position, but you were afraid that you weren't the person to be in a leadership position. And higher self is showing me that if you had stood up and taught them and showed them, particularly the Atlanteans, how certain alliances were not conducive towards their relationship with the Lemurians, if you had honored your truth then and stood up as a leader and stood up as a teacher and just really unblocked that throat chakra and stood for something, they would have listened to you. Wars could have been prevented. And in this lifetime, you're in a similar situation. with really being chosen to say, you know what, I don't care if I feel like I don't fully have the credentials. I don't care if I don't have the library of work backing me up or the social media channel or whatever it is. You felt that way in Atlantis and Lemuria as well. And you were a healer who had all these capacities, but you were just kind of holding them to yourself. And you don't need to do that. Now is really the time. The other higher self message about how you heal right now and how you spark people's attention right now for their healing, they're saying that the way to heal the world right now is something you've been thinking about in your heart. Is not by seeking to change all of the different things that people are worried about, like our governments and the medications and the illnesses and the stuff that I can't talk about on YouTube. That's not your role. You can't change that because that's actually waking people up. So remember that. And you're going to be, people are going to be coming to you and they're going to be asking you what is their role to heal that and to change that and what can they do. And sometimes when we have collectively decided to go through an illness or difficult things together, it's healing and awakening people. So your role is teaching about the truth of that and holding space for people as opposed to us trying to change what we chose about the way that we heal, right? We can't change what we chose in our karma, in our collective role together, your higher self says. So people have to change what's on the inside, and something that you're creating right now. It's like a deep channel of light for yourself and others. That's specifically what higher self said was channel of light. That transmission, those transmissions, those are the words they're using, are going to be helping people understand that all that has just been kind of a giant distraction. So there's a lot here in terms of your role, and your main role in Lemuria is to not do what we all did back then in your lifetime then, to help others not repeat that pattern. Okay. Missions for Nancy Salinas Lopez. Let's see. The vibration in the mission is acceptance, helping yourself and others accept something, and not like these hard things like disempowerment or pain or suffering, not that. Accepting things more like empowerment and connection to our true sovereignty and power. That's the purpose. But the mission comes through connections. You're like a liaison. And you've got to, higher self says you can't be so antisocial if you're going to be a liaison and a connection. So the mission is to connect people to their own sovereignty. It's about empowerment and sovereignty. But you're like, your archetype in that, in your soul, is that of the connector and the mediator. So people will be, they're showing me these images of people coming to you from all directions, and they all want you to understand them and take their side. And this is a difficult point about the breaking through and healing the karma that comes along with certain missions, right? So it's starting like right there in your inner circle right now, and it'll go deeper. Why am I not healing? Thanks for putting your name down there as opposed to your YouTube handle. Let me turn that off. I'm sorry. I forgot to turn my notifications off. So, higher self says they want you to commit to love. And they don't just mean in the promise of something external or the idea of the wonderment about something external in love. They mean the whole idea of love for the human race. There's a part of you that almost gave up on humanity at one point in time. And your higher self is trying to help you get that back. But you just are in this very, like a dark night of the soul space. And when you shift to that darkness and let it take over without thinking that it's going to hurt you, harm you, or cause suffering, or worse yet, kill you, light will come. Light will permeate through that darkness, higher self is saying. And you will be able to commit to the idea that humans are good by nature again. And then you'll be back in your purpose. Light will shine through and you will heal. Okay? So it's a big journey you're on here with Dark Night of the Soul, according to your higher self. Thank you for that super chat. DeAndre Manali is the question right under yours. She says, I'm working on a healing space for my staff at work. What other actions and creations could be focused on at this time? Oh, and you were like, higher self gives me this image of dominoes falling, but you were the one who pushed the domino. And then it was like, instead of dominoes, like heads smacking against each other, egos smacking against each other. Everybody's saying, well, that'll never happen. And they'll never give us that. And when you say healing space, you need to think more practically. It's not just you're holding space for people. Higher self is showing me that you're literally going to be creating different ways for people who otherwise wouldn't even know that it's needed or necessary to have somebody hold space for them, or for a literal healing space as well. So think about this a lot more practically, right? And think about this also as you're in the midst of what higher self calls, like they're giving me the signal that mediums get a lot of symbols. So this symbol, it looks like this, it's the shaking of the hands. You're in the middle of a deal regarding a sacred space. And what you need to do is step back and let them step up. So if you're thinking something might be a no or might not be good for you, just say no and let them step up. Yeah, you're in that space. I'm just waiting on the universe to create its magic. But sometimes you have to step back from it. Do you know what I mean? All right. How am I doing right now with my journey? From Nanette. Are you the lady I've been talking to? We had some conversations recently. Can't tell. Higher self says you need to be looking more at the ordinary nature of your humanness. It's something that you're really good at, and you can understand the things that you're curious about, but that you feel kind of go over your head in your spiritual journey and spirituality right now. You can understand that better if you look more at your ordinary humanness. You have this capacity to see God in small things, and you've always been that way. So when you look at your ordinary humanness, not as an obstruction to your spiritual path, but as something through which, so much peace can be extended, and you can really reach your higher self at a deeper level. That's more of where you're going to get the most out of this. Jamie S. says, why do I feel out of place almost everywhere I go? Higher self says, sometimes when your life has been a whirlwind of karmic effect, and they're showing me your life, and it's just like, literally a whirlwind, and it's like home, family, money, love, kids, like it reached every area. And you're just standing in the center like an inner child, with your inner child, just with your hands around your knees going, well, you're telling me to create something, but there's nothing to create with. Everything's gone. So how do I feel like I'm going to belong any place I go or have nothing to go there with? So when you're in this space, you need to give that to your higher self, and just give that, and just say, whatever that karma was, I'm going to stop being afraid that it's going to continue happening. Number one, I'm going to stop thinking that it's never going to end. I'm going to stop thinking that because of all this, that Earth isn't home. I'm just going to extend love and extend love and extend gratitude and extend gratitude. Gratitude is the purpose right now. That is the energy endeavor for you at the deep soul level. And it's hard to be grateful when you feel like you just have nothing, right? But there are some people around you that deeply love you. You're just pushing away. You're pushing everyone away. So right now, you need people. Higher self's advice is to not push people away, not push the universe away and say that it's going to keep doing the same things, to trust that you can extend love even when you feel empty, that your deepest gift is that of healing and compassion and a deep energy of respect. You know how to make a person feel respected. So go out in the world in your deepest pain and nothingness and serve in whatever way you can. That's practical, right? Do everything you can, even if it's from a distance, because this is extending love and activating your healing abilities. And then all of that cycle, that whirlwind cycle of karma will be complete. Okay. And they said every time you think a thought of gratitude or a loving thought right now, you've literally blessed all the infinite realms of creation. So instead of saying, why am I not blessed? Just say, okay, I'm just going to bless others. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm here just to bless others. That's the type of healer that I am. Maybe that's true. Try that out for size from higher self today. And you'll be surprised that all these blessings start to come back your direction. Like threefold, fourfold, tenfold. You'll be so surprised at how the soul pulls you out of that darkness right now. Okay. Let's see. NARC University, thank you for that super chat. I didn't see a question in it, but thank you. Let's see who else we have here. Okay, so Barb Corman, thank you for the super chat. Higher selves don't have names. That'll be something that really disappoints many people. Our souls have names, though. And Anne was a name that you have, and it was actually more like Anna, or something like that, very close to it. So, and your higher self doesn't care what name you give it. We tend to personify, but it's a soul. It's a part of you that you're tapping into and wanting to master. That's part of you. That's why you gave yourself that name. You've been, something about your physical environment, higher self says, has been blocking you from trance channeling. So it's very practical, very literal that you don't have a quiet space, not in your head or in your life. So work on the quiet space in your head and learn a lot of frequency management right now, because that's what's going to help you get deeper into your capacity, is like deeper psychic hygiene and thought and frequency management. I got a class coming up next month on that. But right now, it's like you haven't created the space. So you keep saying, I don't have the space for it. I don't have the space for it. Just create the space in here, and whatever space you have elsewhere, even if it's just a small corner, make do with it. What you think is a big old office right now is just a small corner of my room, like one room in my house that I also sleep in. I live in a tiny home. Anyone can create the space for it. So stop freaking yourself out, is higher self's advice, and clear some space in here. The body needs some deep healing right now. So you need some deep work. So I would suggest like some Reiki or some pranic healing, reflexology as well, to kind of balance things out. The body needs a little bit of time off before you get going in that. Okay. Why am I not healing for 20 years? This is from the same person, Thurlby. Higher self says that's a contract. When you have something for that long, that's a contract. So embrace all that's coming to you right now in the simple reality that you have called it to you. This is a contract. So there's something you're meant to do when you're healing and while you're healing. I know that it has to do with writing, and I'm not sure that it's necessarily a book, but I see you writing something according to your higher self. And there's this degree of being able to really rest yourself in your mind right now. That's going to help as well. But this is a long term. It's not a forever contract, but it's like a one long period of your life type of contract. Sometimes we have temporary illness. Sometimes it's sort of months. Sometimes it's years. Sometimes it's quarters of your life. So this has been a quarter of your life. Luckily, you're like at the end of this quarter, according to your higher self. So you're not The contract's not showing me that you're meant to be sick your whole life. So this was just for a time, albeit a long quarter of your life. Okay. And I know there's some things that you've been calling a challenge in this, but um, it's always an opportunity to expand your commitment to life more, to enjoy living your life exactly how you are without trying to want to be different. Sometimes when we just say, you know what, this is my life, this is my body for how it is, this is my mind for how it is, and I'm going to love my life, and I actually don't need it to be different. That that energy, that thought stream can manifest you out of that karmic cycle. And a lot of people don't want to do this, right? But this is what higher self is saying. Deep acceptance for you right now will pull you towards the tail end of this contract and get you out of it. Okay. Binta Dixon, thank you for that super chat. Diamond B says, what are the next sacred actions I can take to step more into my soul-inspired herbal flora medicine that I am prepared to offer to the world? Higher self is showing me like a 3-piece jigsaw puzzle with the medicine is like somewhere up here, like in the left corner, and something else activating mission and purpose is over here in the right corner, on this side of the triangle. And then the top side of the triangle has to do with energy, frequency management, and mindset. So there are 3 different pieces to that puzzle when you are creating like your next container of healing for the world. So that's something to consider for whatever that looks like and means to you. You're such an old soul, and what your higher self says is sometimes when you get people coming to you and they're kind of new souls or not quite as old souls, they haven't mastered a lot. So they're coming to you with this energy, and this energy of having their principles violated, having something taken from them, like feeling like something's been done to them, and that whole victimhood energy pattern. And you are actually attracting people like that everywhere you look. And when you attract that, you have to teach them that if they're feeling that rest assured there's much to be learned, because we actually can't have our principles violated. That's not true in the heavenly realms. It's only true in dualism when people let karma just take over completely, and then that feels true for them, right? So you're meant to help them break that thought stream, and that's like that top piece of the puzzle for you. So when you are attracting people like that in your life, healers, you're meant to help them. They're there because there's something that you have that can help them. So find out what that something is. I think it is really breaking through karmic thought streams. Sometimes these karmic thought streams come over from other lifetimes. You never know where they come from, but it's your job to help people release them. Olivia S., your question is lit up right up underneath that, so I'm going to go ahead and take it because I can see it. And thanks for the super chat. She says, how can I bring a loving, committed, fulfilling, joyous relationship into my reality? Higher self says, are you banking on it lasting forever? And then when it doesn't, and it's only lasting for a certain karmic reason, which is timely, you learn something and then it's over. They learn something, then it's over. Or it's timely in terms of, say, months. That's the season of your life. And then it's over, right? And then that keeps you clear for your true spiritual mission. Because if you're tied up in loving relationships, when you're like right in the middle of your spiritual mission, you're going to get super busy with making sure that person is happy, making sure they accept you, all these people-pleasing things that you still do. So number 1, higher self says, get rid of the people-pleasing. It's a year of deep soul connection and following your intuition and trusting your instincts, taking care of your body, deep physical and sexual self-care. They're advising Tantra for you. My friends light workers 613 are exceptional with that. So feeling is that doorway. Your heart chakra right now, you're saying I want love in my life, but your heart chakra is only like a third of the way open. And that heart is the doorway to love and freedom. And if you are a people pleaser and one of these empaths, I call them sympaths, then you'll come in and want to heal the person that you're with. And you're meant to attract someone who helps you. And when those people, when they come, sometimes you just go, oh, no, I'm not here to learn anything. I'm the teacher. I'm going to shut you out. It's another thing you do. So higher self's kind of giving you a really gentle call out today. But when you see people that are helping you, why aren't you receiving? And don't worry about timing. Once you're deep in your spiritual mission on this planet, love will just come to you. Don't worry about trying to manifest it, because some things you can manifest from destiny, but some things, according to your higher self, you can only manifest through fate, and it's like the divine will, and it's just happening in the timing that it's meant to. Probably once your spiritual mission is like closer towards its fullness. Otherwise, you'll get distracted. But in your destiny, that's what you can manifest. Work on receiving love more, letting people in, even if they feel bossy or feel like they're trying to help you and you don't want to be helped. Right? Even if it feels intrusive, because people are coming in to ground you, but you have pushed a couple of them away. All right, so it's time to start fresh. Oh, Frank, moron, you have my heart. That question. Did you guys see that? Just shoot him some love right now. Like, stop what you're doing and send Frank Moran a ton of love. Higher self says yes to answer your question about staying clean from heroin, and will you be able to do it? It's not you who does it. It's just one of these instances where your fall was so hard that you can't imagine that feeling again when you fall, because you have these deep connections that feel like you're right there next to God, and then when you fall, it's like you're in hell. And that last hell was so hard, you'll come very close to like breaking your sobriety. But I need you to remember that fall and remember how hard it was, is what higher self is saying. And then you won't do it, because nothing can be worse than that last time. Okay. Remember that you were so close to something so heavenly, and you don't need heroin to get there again. Believe it or not, you will actually be able to transcend your pain and to feel that way. Right now, you just kind of are feeling like, neutral, whatever, right? And I know you miss that feeling, but you're going to be able to have that in a different way. So I'm going to tell you something, because higher self said it, not me, and I would never typically advise this, so it isn't my advice. Higher self is advising some ayahuasca. Go deep with the mother. I'm not an ayahuasca fan, so it's not me talking. Go deep with the mother. Go into the jungle this year. Do what you can with that. And get, like, I just have to tell you, be responsible, get a good shaman, all that. Do what you can, but work with Aya this year. That'll help you understand a lot more about how you can stay clean from this. Okay, Luis. Oh, I know you. Hi, Luis. Or Lewis. He says, hi, I've connected to some parts of myself, but I love to see what you see from a higher self and collective. Yeah, I know who you are. You didn't have to tell me. I remember from your last name. It's with sound, music, and light languages coming through. It's with different light codes through different tones and sounds. It's through working with like underprivileged inner city kids. There'll be these kids that come to you in 2023, and they'll just need something. Like, you can just feel it in their eyes, and they just want to be around you. And it's like they look at you like a big brother. And I need you to pay attention to this and let this go on for as long as you can when this happens, or if this is happening right now, because you showing up in their life with everything they're going through, it's like something is in that for you. Okay. Okay. Next question from Angie C. Thank you for the super chat. She says, why is my kidney function and liver function compromised? What can I do? It was actually from a medication that you're no longer on, and it was a long time ago, and you're just now seeing the results. You can just flush it out with a liver detox, but be very careful in terms of right now, your kidney function. You don't need to eat a lot of proteins. You don't need to have a lot of salt. You need to pay attention and just eat a really mild diet without putting a lot of pressure on the kidneys, and do a gentle liver detox. Okay. Because there's some kind of leftover effects from a drug in your system that's not there anymore. Okay. Keep an eye on that. Okay, so also just looking at the immune system, you do have a virus. I don't know if you know that right now, but I would really settle in with some lamatium. I know that that's going to be gentle on your kidneys and liver. Ask your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not qualified to diagnose or treat you or offer medical advice, but ask them if lamatium will be okay, because that's the medical intuition I'm getting right now, because you just need to knock that virus out. Okay. What does my higher self say to do to open my abilities? This is from Diane R. Allowance. If you pray for the grace of allowance. If you meditate, ask for the grace of allowance. If you do affirmations or invocations, higher self says, ask for the grace of allowance. Because when you have come to allow things and trust things, you will have embraced your life. And when you embrace your life, as opposed to thinking like me opening my abilities will fix it, just embrace your life and those abilities will just come naturally. Okay, a lot of healers here today, including you, according to your higher self. Okay. Jamie, yes, I saw your message, but you retracted it. Okay. How are my psychic abilities supposed to raise the vibration of Earth? It's not psychic abilities that raise the vibration of Earth. Your higher self says that you are in a situation when you think about Earth and everything going on in it, where it's almost like you're thinking that the Earth situation is too big, that there are too many problems, too much pain, too much karmic effect. And when you're in this space, higher self says, rest assured it's because something big has finally come to the surface from within your life to be healed, and it's surfacing now, but you're still like looking out here. We need to look in here, right? So something has surfaced to be healed within you, that so that more power can shine forth through you. And then that power, that energy, that integrated energy is actually what raises the frequency of Earth, not your psychic abilities. Everybody has abilities. Some of them are psychic, some of them are not. But everybody has an ability, right? You have reached a place where you're ready for more of your abilities to shine through. But you're freaking yourself out, higher self says. That's another thing. Stop freaking yourself out when you're doing certain rituals and things happen, and then you go, oh no, oh wow. Oh, well, what'd you expect? Of course, bigger things are going to happen. So calm down and let just be in that wonder, be in that awe, and let it embrace you right now. There are some big things happening in your abilities, but no, that's not what's raising the vibration of Earth. Connecting with people, reaching with people, that's what's going to raise the vibration of Earth for you. Okay, Business Anima, thank you for the super chat. What does my higher self have to say about my soul family? I'm not sure who I really am. Okay, Kristen. From the galactic perspective, it's very Syrian, from the Sirius B collective. from the Earth perspective, your first times on Earth were in Lemuria, and you were coming through right after some of the Thoth teachings. So I strongly suggest connecting with some of your Egyptian spirit guides, your higher self is saying. So connect with Thoth, connect with the Ra group as a soul family. I do have some channelings here and on my Patreon of that, and you can read the raw material as well. It's very good. Connect with Ainana, which is one of your higher self spirit guides, like your dominant self right now, at least in the soul. Okay. Connect with some of this and you will feel a lot more understood about, like, you'll understand more from about your own nature. Suzanne, it is an adrenal issue. Adrenal issues take a very long time to heal for the healer that you are. So with the way that you work through, you have to understand that you are loved. You have to understand that it's safe to receive love. Even when things don't go your way, even when you don't understand that love is still love, even when it isn't going our way, higher self says. So the higher self message to you to heal this is just to remember that you are loved, that it's safe to receive love, that you are always lovable, and that's an infinite, that you will be lovable forever, always. No one can take that from you or say otherwise. Okay. How can we get the world to ban plastic? Your spirit guide Lilith said, well, way to go big. Stop buying it. You don't need a higher self message for that. However, your higher self says some people will always want to destroy things, and then there will be people who want to heal the things that are destroyed. And this is the nature of polarity, which means there will always be plastic bags for at least a third of the population. We'll come to the point, in your lifetime where you see that begin at a small level to heal itself, but looking at the end result of healing, like the result being no more plastic bags, as being evidence of healing, is just working with your ego, not your higher self, because ego says, well, I don't believe that we're healed unless we see evidence of it. And evidence for me looks like no more plastic bags, right? Is way deeper than that, what we're working with. Okay. So first of all, the acceptance of understanding that there will always be, your higher self says, a polaristic world. Earth is a grad school. We come here for that. We come here for some people to want to destroy Earth and for others to want to heal what they destroyed. And that will always be. It will always be. There would be no Earth otherwise. Accept that, and you'll see a lot shifting, right? And for everyone else, if you want to see that, just stop using plastic bags. It's not a big deal. I know in my small town, our grocery store recently said, oh, we're going to charge you every time you have a plastic bag. And we were like, okay, we don't use plastic bags, but if for one day I have to pay 10 cents for a plastic bag, that's another reminder, right? But everybody in my town, like, I could feel the collective uproar, people just complaining and I have to pay for plastic bags. And, okay, well, don't use plastic bags. It's okay. We are like so attached to our convenience, aren't we? Is my med school journey my mission? No, your higher self says that's your path, not your mission. That's your path to it. But your mission actually comes in alignment with helping people understand the true nature of the human brain, helping people understand how the brain's pathways connect and open up emotions. Particularly, you'll have a deep interest in people who are mentally ill and commit crimes and have, like, the mind of a psychopath or a sociopath. You in your lifetime will have a deep interest in connecting the pathways in the human brain to help people understand the true nature of emotion. So if you have to go through in your path med school, that's your path, right? But your mission is empowered awareness. Yeah. And how you get there is completely up to you. It looks like you need med school for that, and that's fine, right? Oh, thanks for that, Angie. Thank you for the super chat, Nikisha, as well as Zulmi. Zulma, I still haven't seen your question.
She's only just got it in there now.
Oh, she just, where is it? Okay.
You have to go to the end of the chat.
Am I here to just observe? Higher self says, you know better, you know more. It's like your higher self sings, even when you don't. Your higher self still believes in connecting spirit to science and will always want you to open up that mission for yourself and do a lot of deep research with how to connect spirit to science and help people understand that it's not just spiritual and not just scientific, that there's something that connects, like the path that binds, is what your higher self is saying. Mark Harrison, I'm laughing because you just have such a phenomenal sense of humor. So I was just imagining you laughing, but then your higher self says, actually, he's being kind of serious. Don't laugh. It's the first time Mark Harrison has ever been serious with me. And thank you for the super chat. He says, is my higher self disappointed that I don't take life seriously? No. Your higher self says, if you really get this, you know how you're just interdependent. You've never felt that you needed anything from anyone. You've never felt a certain expectation of Earth to be a certain way or people to do things for you or to make you happy. You attract a lot of people who don't know how to get out of their victimhood. And then your humor, your lightness is a sovereignty. It's a grace to them. And suddenly they're laughing so hard they can't look at their victimhood anymore. You attract some deep, dark people. And then when you make them laugh and they're not taking themselves seriously, guess what? They're one step closer towards healing. It is an incredible gift. And your higher self says that, and fishing for him is an incredible gift. His connection to nature and water is an incredible gift, but you have this vigilance about you. You don't see yourself as strong, but your higher self sees you as that way. You're vigilant. You just keep at it. This vigilance towards awakening, even though you don't even know how to, well, you know how, you're very smart. You just refuse to, your higher self says. He refuses to identify with standard terms of awakening. He won't even tell people what awakening means. He'll just make a joke about it and then they'll know. That's a gift. It is a gift. Jamie, yes, I keep seeing your messages and then they're retracted again. Mandy Sullivan, how do I heal my inability to be nurtured by others due to mother issues? Start nurturing yourself, and you're doing that according to your higher self. But the other part of it is be nurtured in a way of service. So it can't be like there's this part of you that higher self says when you let people nurture you, you'll say, well, what do I need to do for them in return, or where are the strings going to become attached? So work around your ego a bit. Go to healers, go to massage therapists, maybe go do, according to your body right now, your electrolytes are very imbalanced and the neural pathways need to be connected a lot more. So I'd say do some float tank meditation. Treat yourself, deep self-care right now. And letting all the service workers there like deeply love you, or ask for a massage, shoulder massage from a kid or a family member or a friend, right? Ask for service and treat yourself. Deep self-care right now, because this journey, it has begun, and this journey of your healing and your capacity to love yourself stops with the service. It's not about service for you right now, but about giving that same service to yourself and being able to ask for it from others, even strangers and people who you don't know very well. So this means that Spirit's going to be working through strangers and people you barely know, and it's going to be a little bit scary sometimes, but this is your path this year. And this journey has begun. There's no stopping it. And the end of this healing, the result of this being your healing, is absolutely certain. It's absolutely certain. And you couldn't stop this train even if you stood on the tracks right now. It would just hurt and you'd walk away all mangled. Like, you can't stop the healing train, right? So get off the tracks, stop getting in your own way. That just hurts you. All right. You can walk along the side of the tracks, but don't walk on them. Don't walk right in the way of your problems. Okay.
Okay, I have a question here.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone wants to know where all the super chats answered are just randomly picked.
I'm picking super chats and things in between super chats. So I don't see very well, which is why I can see super chats. But I also am picking things like above them or below them or in the middle of them. I'm picking from just about everywhere.
Are you going to answer every super chat?
I may or may not answer every super chat. If I see it, I might.
Once they know.
Because it bounces up pretty fast. And if I see it, I will answer the super chats. But if I don't, then I won't. Sim, about angel numbers, your higher self says Spirit's trying to tell you to sit still, to be still. And sometimes you've been on several paths of creative abundance where you want to create a new path for yourself, particularly in career, and change that will involve like even some small level of abundance so that you can make some changes in where you live and how you live. And there's some things going on, but your creative ideas, it's like you're burning through them without actually doing them. They're going through your mind, but you have this very lot like a your mind is like a I don't know, I'm showing my age here, but the spirit is showing me like one of these Rolodex things where you just flip through the files and you got all these ideas and you flip through and you go, well, that won't make money. Well, I don't live in the right environment to do that. And this requires too much investment, or that's people wouldn't understand me or might judge me. And your soul's trying to talk to you, but you're just not you stop yourself. And that's why the angel numbers are coming, because you keep kind of just stopping yourself when you're getting these powerful downloads for creativity regarding abundance right now. You know what I mean? So careful with that. Taviana, about the throat chakra clearing. That name comes up from your higher self as a soul sister on the angelic realm and on the human realm. And there's still some karma to clear. Your dream state is activating right now because you're activating two of the different kingdoms of God within you right now, involving more of the heart chakra and opening up more to trusting in your clairsentience. So the dream stage is like a blueprint. Okay. Stimuge L. I hope I pronounced that right. About purpose. Higher self says that yours is about discernment, which means the capacity to trust in your own power within you, and trust is a big part of this. Narc, thanks for the super chat. I still don't see your question, but thank you for that. Angela, how do I find my joy and cultivate joy on my own? Your higher self says, but you're here for connection. You're not here to be stimulated actually on your own, because you're such an empath. You love humanity, even when they're getting on your nerves. Even when you don't understand them, you absolutely adore and can see the love and the joy and the fun in all things, even when it's painful. But right now, you need to practice more of a creative spiritual ability, and it has to do with art. Right now, that is what brings you the joy, and you're not creating enough time for yourself in that endeavor for that to become a practice for you. It's like a spiritual cleansing, activating practice for you. And you don't think you're good at it, which has been a block. Yeah. Oh. Why did Milu Ahana come to me, and is it Liren? Liren, feline from Avalon and the surrounding cities before it was destroyed. World Group Peace Meditation. I don't know what that means to you, but that's what she's saying. It's like something she wants you to do or create. She said, remember, you are created exactly for how you're meant to, how you are meant to be created. You are exactly as you're meant to be. Accept all the weirdness, the oddities, everything about you right now. She's there to help you. She's there to help you create and to connect more people who know how to create. She's there to help you help star seeds. There's a bunch of things she's there for, she says. Okay. Yeah. So what I've been doing, guys, just, I go to super chat and then not a super chat and then super chat and then not a super chat. So that way people aren't thinking, well, I'm just going to go for whoever pays me. I'm doing a little bit of everything. But the next one is the super chat, and it says Orcus Girl 1. Thank you for that super chat. She said, I've had severe pain for over 30 years, which has gotten worse to where now it prevents me from my joy of being an artist and supporting myself. Why has it been so long? Oh my gosh, the contracts. Let me see. Type in chat. Are you still here? What is your first name? I'm going to try to do it without it, but it really helps me when you tell me that first name. Is Orca Girl still here? Robin, okay. Okay, so this is genetic. Higher Self says you are a healer that is healing the ancestral realms. All the women in your family are healing through this. And you're still at it. Your art was meant to be shamanism. You're not being held back. You're being pushed out of art so that you can go forward. Look, shamanism these days has become a big appropriation. There are many people that I meet whose higher self says you're meant to be a shaman. It just is so rare. So I need you to hear this message today strongly. Do what you need to do. Find Mother Nature can initiate you, or you can find another shaman that you trust. But you're being pushed out of art to do something else. Then you'll heal. Then you'll go back to art, and then you'll do both. But it took 30 whole years, right? Art helped you for a while just still be able to maintain support. But the ultimate thing is to heal the female lineage. There's this goddess in you who wants to come forward. You're holding her back. So this isn't about like your living family. This is about past lifetime. Have you heard of ancestral karma and ancestral healing the karma of your ancestors? So many people right here can help you with that. You guys start talking to her. I see so many shamans in chat and ancestral karma healers. Yeah. So when you're healing ancestral karma, you sit, you draw a sacred circle around you, you call in your higher self, and you say, okay, who else in my ancestral lineage needs healing? I will do it for them. I will do it for them. Okay. Charlotte, I knew you'd be here. I just felt it. She said, please help me understand what I need to know about this cancer journey. You already know. Higher Self said it was for 2 reasons. To get you reconnected. You wouldn't receive help, support, or love, and now you have to. You have to receive love now. People in your family that would probably have never talked to each other and would have never talked again are now talking. Miracles have happened in friendships and relationships. You did this for them and for you. You did this for your family and your friend circle, and you did it so that you could learn how to be supported and not always be the one, going back to those early days when you would say, why is it always me? Always doing everything for everyone. And now you're not, because you can't. So you're healing that. You're learning the whole cycle of giving and receiving. And you will beat it. You already are. All right. You will beat it. Clea, thank you for the super chat. Nikisha, She says, as I rediscover me, my path is leading me to a new country. Wow. Congratulations. They're not being funny. I say well for you because there's a part of you that used to dream about this when you were little, and it would never make any sense, and you would never know what the dreams meant or where you actually were, and you just knew that it didn't look like your land. So this is a deep mission of service and unity. It has to do with women's empowerment and sovereignty and freedom of speech. It has to do with clear water. It has to do with ancestral healing. It has to do with empowerment. There's so much here that your higher self is giving me. So it's not just about you progressing creatively. That's just the start. This has kind of become a big thing. Okay. Eduardo Ricinos, he says, any advice from my higher self for my healing journey this year? I'm desperate to break free from the things that have been holding me back for years now. So addictions are the biggest thing, both in the mind and the body. And they said right now, breathe, know when to speak your truth and keep it to yourself. That's a big deal in your relationships this year. Know when, even if you do speak your truth, other people are going to be angry or start a fight. Even when what you said is true, is it really worth it? That's something. It's like when your throat chakra opened up and you started becoming who you are and speaking your truth and being your original full self, people had this really defensive reaction and you kind of liked it and got addicted to it. So that was like the mental addiction. I laugh because I've done it, right? You haven't been heard for so long and you know what you're speaking is true. You just blurt it out, right? So right now you need to mitigate your truth. And it doesn't mean that you'll be in a less empowered place by doing that. It just means sometimes it isn't worth it. Sometimes quiet is more powerful than speaking, even when you know the truth. So work on that this year, and the physical addiction will begin to take care of itself. It really will. It won't be half as hard as you think. Sarah Smith, Rainbow Sky Astrology. That was a mouthful. I like Rainbow Sky. That's so cool. Thank you for the super chat. She says, what would my higher self like for me to know this year? Higher self says, I would love to touch people with sound and sound healings, but not from my voice. I would love to extend the presence of compassion to people so that they can learn to love and feel compassion for themselves. So that if even one person could be touched by that place within them, that they feel free for the first time. Freedom is my purpose and compassion is my purpose. If there's something about me that God can use as a tool right now and that Goddess can use as a tool right now, I would like to do this in ways of speaking to larger groups of people this year, but I am holding myself back. My ego is holding myself back, your higher self said. So let's stop that. Let's stop holding yourself back. Sarah Smith. Lori Mars, you got my attention because you typed in caps. I like that. Okay. For my retirement, she says, is it recommended that I pursue buying my friend's father's house? Oh my gosh, Lori. So all of your angels are like surrounding you right now going, no. And higher self says there would be, it looks like an easy thing to do, but then there would be so many loose ends to tie up right now. So let your friend deal with tying up whatever loose ends are going on with their father, because there's something there that would make it almost legally impossible for it to actually be yours right now. Something's wrong. So this is where you need to look more into legalities and things like that, or just say, okay, are you sure that we have all the paperwork and the loose ends tied up and the I's dotted and the T's crossed, because something seems off, and let her do all that, as opposed to you getting all tied up and waiting on it and all this kind of stuff. All right. Yeah, this takes a lot of faith, but sometimes you have to talk to your friend and just say, is that really legally going to be okay? Is that really aligned to happen in a legal way, a practical way for me? Do you know what I mean? Boris Zach, thank you for that super chat. Okay. Just trying to see. Hold on. Vision's been funny lately. Latoya, messages from higher self, she asks. Oh, this one just gives me chills. Higher self says, that which has not been embraced by you imprisons you. All those little things this year where you said, like, I will never let that person in again. I'll never trust that person again, especially not like in love relationships. Some people are meant to become friends. They were never meant to be love partners to begin with. Some people are meant to be love partners and never friends. And some people were meant to be just for a time, like to come in and go out. So this whole idea of not embracing things and people who have hurt you this year, that will be a really difficult thing to kind of in the mind let go of, and they need you to forgive. They need you to let go of that, as opposed to saying, I'll never be this way or I'll never be that way. That which has not been embraced by you can imprison you if you're not cautious, our self says. Maria Janetti, your question about career right now. Higher self says it needs to be something that gets you out of the house enough, because you get a little bit down when you're too much in the house, but also that gives you the capacity to go home or be home whenever you want. And if nothing does that, don't do it right now. Like, hold firm in any offers you're getting to where you have flexibility in this specific way that your higher self is saying. Yeah. Anne A. or Anetta. Let's see. About career, your willingness to trust and follow your heart is going to be big this year, because higher self says your path is more creative than logistical. So just doing things that pay the rent or pay the mortgage are not really an option for you anymore. You'll literally get headaches and all sorts of head issues and things like that. So we don't want that. Just because you're smart doesn't mean you have to like apply all your smarts to someone else and to someone else's success. Your smarts can be applied more creatively. Campaigning and helping creating different institutes of awareness for spirituality involving animals and earth are a big deal for you this year. Ask about that a little bit more and you'll be given a dream. Whenever things are legit for you, you always get a dream or a vision. And then you go, oh no, I'll never forget that. And then you do. And we have to ask for the dream again. So higher self wants you to pay attention to your dreams and have a lot of willingness to trust and to follow your heart. And don't pay attention to like, I should do this just because I'm smarter. This is my background. It's like everything is changing. All right. Angelica, thanks for the super chat. She said, I keep being told my healing abilities will reach the masses and my story is important. My gifts keep evolving. Am I on the right path and track with workshops? Or should books be first? Also curious about the purpose of current 5D relationship. You mean a specific 5D relationship, or do you mean like the purpose of 5D relationships that we're all going through right now? Insofar as your spiritual track with workshops, it's the latter part of the year that's a better timing. And what higher self doesn't want you to do is get out there and be like, why didn't anyone show up? All right. That's going to be, and when that kind of thing happens in your life, then you go, well, why didn't I listen? Boop should have been first. Workshops, as you know, are meant to be first. They are saying that to you, but they're saying that the timing is excruciatingly important. And it's very rare that higher self says, okay, this is not quite the timing for that. Right. So your workshops are meant to be in small groups online and like master classes or immersions right now. And then in person later, like later this year would be a better time for that. Specific? Well, give me their name, silly. Let me be nosy. Okay. I'm waiting. Are you going to type in their name? Okay. I guess you're not. Higher self says there's nothing you can be aware of in the energy of another person that you have not done, that you have not known, that you have not experienced in yourself. Okay. So in this 5D relationship, there'll be a lot of things that come about that you'll say, I'm absolutely perfect, that this, them, absolutely 100% sure that it's a 5D relationship. Great. Okay. What does that look like practically for you? Because practically, there is still some differences about the type of relationship. And it's not a difference on his end. It's a difference on your end. So you can have a 5D relationship and then it doesn't, there could be differences that pull you apart in time. So you have to commit in 5D relationships, differences or not, and being able to say, okay, I know we're different. And because we're in a 5D relationship, we're going to work those differences out. He's willing to do that. But are you, is what your higher self is saying. That will be the true definition. I didn't get to see your super chat. Well, what's your question? What does my higher self recommend about my health? This is Yvonne. I'm sorry that I didn't see it. I don't see well, so I just do the best I can. Let's see. So there's a lot of divine revelations about health right now, related to a feeling of poverty or lack or like a cold energy in the crown chakra and not trusting your own knowingness. So this has to do particularly with the neurological and neuromuscular system. And it's like I'm feeling like a coldness in my body as a physical medium, like a frozenness running all the way through my nervous system. Don't freeze. Be willing to move forward when higher self says to you. Be willing to ask for warmth and to provide yourself with warmth from spirit, to be deeply invigorated by this. All right. And this is, I would suggest like working also, higher self says work with perhaps like a holistic herbalist who can help you tone the vagus nerve. That'll help out a lot too from the physiological standpoint. Yeah. Elisa or Elisa, I'm not sure. Higher self says, and they're just giving me numbers, 812. 812 is this year. When they do give numbers, which is rare, there's something to it. So I'd pay attention to 8 weeks or August the 12th or the first week of August on the 2nd. It always means something. Thank you, David King, so much for that super chat, but I haven't seen your question yet.
Questions and super chat aren't connected.
They tend to put their questions in the
I'm
chat.
blocking some of them at the moment. So
Okay. I'm just going to try to tap into your question and just kind of get it without you telling me. Hang on. Okay. Higher self says it's not a matter that you're missing something. You knew that in relation to how you work things out and made shifts in your relationship and your love life. You knew when there was a block and when there wasn't. So you're not blocked. is that you've created this team of people in your life, particularly family, and they need you in specific ways, and you haven't found a creative way to utilize your abilities. It's not that you're missing something. It's not that you don't know what they are. The Christic consciousness is very prevalent in you, and your healing capacities are stellar. It's just that you've created this box around yourself of people who desperately need you, and it's not their fault, but you have to get more creative because you can't keep sitting around on your hands with this. All right. Sarah Cook, what direction should I go to fill my purpose? Let's ask higher self. Okay. This purpose is definitely, you're going to have to go deeper into the mysteries of your own soul to get here, but it has to do with discretion. Discretion is a spiritual gift. All right. When discretion is your purpose, you're able to say, okay, I trust, I allow, and I flow. I trust my decisions. I allow my discernment to come through me. And then I actually go into sacred action. I do something about it. So you're a bit of a mediator. You do have some healing capacity, but the problem is you have so many gifts, actually so many abilities, that you're like a deer in the headlights. There's so many things to choose from. So Spirit is saying to you, remember, purpose is a treasure hunt. There are tons of things you're meant to do. And there's no reason why you can't do them all. Don't get distracted because there's so many things that you're good at. Just go for it. All Spirit says you don't need clairvoyance to be a channel. It's not really your thing. You're more of a clairsentient and a physical medium, so it comes through feeling, both physically and emotionally, and a vibration in the third eye in the head. So, Kelly, thanks for the super chat. Lotsa Pets Loves. What is your name? She says, I have just relocated my family to be with my husband in a new town far from my previous home. Help me hear from my higher self. Okay. Higher self said, when you do something like that, make sure that every single day you have some time for your spiritual practice. You have some time for exercise. You have some time that is just yours, even if you're going to read a book for an hour. Sometimes just to do nothing for an hour. This is really important. There's a female in the family that's sort of like, from what your higher self is saying, has a matriarchal presence that comes in and is sort of like, tells everybody what to do and runs everything, and stay out of that person's way for now. All right. You also need to know that that person has a health problem, and the family's going to need to kind of go around and figure out how to best get support, for her and to best support her. So be there during that time. You might be surprised that your personal relationship with that person becomes really soft, and that vulnerability in that person's illness begins to open you up and open your relationship up with her as well. So it's kind of this really miracle moment. It's a weird year, and there's a reason why you're there. Okay. There is like a local friend that you're going to meet. I know you think you couldn't possibly have time for this, but they are saying that you are going to meet someone that's going to end up being like your rock. And I know you're really missing a really good friend right now. And I know that no one can replace that, but there will be a really supportive friend that's coming along your way here in about 5 to 6 weeks. So hang in there. Shadow, I would need to know your name to answer that question. Names really help with energies. When you don't see a person, you need a vibration. Lisa Johnson. Is that someone who's here? Yes. Okay, Spirit says yes. Okay, so remember, higher self says spirituality isn't about whether or not you do or don't, get the taxes filed on time this year. Just do it and make everything spiritual, but don't like put sort of a practical precedence on what spirituality looks like, either practically or not practically. you have kind of this financial trigger. And typically it has to do with bookkeeping, taxes, accounting, anything where you have to organize funds. So you really need to spend about a couple weeks in like intermittent fasting and meditation before you get ready to do that this year. I know that sounds like really unspiritual advice, but if you can get this, really, whatever this is, this trigger under control, it's going to be a darn good year. Okay. It's nothing that you have to do to get to God or Goddess. There's nothing you have to do, is what your higher self is saying. There's some things to be released, particularly in forgiving a father or a father figure in your life. All right. Boris, why do I keep getting injured a few times each year? It stops me from being myself. Higher self says, we're just trying to show you that your body is not who you are spiritually. At some point in time, training stops and we take a break for a minute to reconnect to the soul. And when you're not connecting to the soul, the body breaks down. If you connect to the soul all year long, your body will not break down, but you don't. You put more precedence towards the body than you do the soul, and then the body breaks down and stops you in your tracks. Not an easy message, but I'm sure all of us can relate to some degree that people have gotten in their way thinking, oh, it's all the body and the training and the body and the training. You're meant to connect to the soul. It has precedence. And then the body and the training stuff will be great. That's not who you are. That's a mission, but it's one of like 3 missions. And at some point when you're older, you're not going to be able to do that physical mission anymore. True? So if you don't start training yourself for your other 2 missions, which are not physical and are not about training, no athleticism involved, then by the time you're older, you're going to be sad that you're no longer an athlete. You see what's happening? This is a big one. Okay. Okay, I think I'm missing some. Partner in life, Jedi lady, Kathleen? Soul says yes. Nati, why has he been hot and cold with me? Is it my best interest to leave or wait? Higher self said, wait? On what? More hot and cold? You know the answer. You're just scared of it. Binta, higher self says you're seeing the situation with a lot of attachment and clarity. You can still see the truth in it and be attached to the outcome of it and wanting that to be different. You see the truth, but you can't make it be different. Sometimes you just can't change it. You're seeing it clearly, but your attachment is making you unclear. Pauline, thanks for the super chat. NARC University, it looks good. It just looks a little slow on the uptake. Surrender all that you thought you knew about what this will look like, because by the time this spa really gets up and running, you'll change like 3 different things and then another 3 and then another 3. The concept is like shifting a lot, right? And that's okay. Like, let it shift. Okay. Oh, Shadow, you finally told me your name, but I don't have your question now. Oh, goodness. Would joining my local choir nourish my creative spirit? Melanie, yeah, it would. And you might make a really good friend. I don't feel like it's a permanent way, though. I feel like it's like a first step towards something. It's the first step towards something with that. Your voice has been kind of dormant and you need to get to know it again because you do have some talents there. Gretchen, thanks for the super chat. She said, I need some advice on how to go forward. I've had spiritual experiences, but they've stopped. Herself says, so let them stop and go forward anyway. Sometimes we go forward and we just say, okay, we had some mystical experiences and that was for that time. But mystical experiences after that need to become very personal and quiet and deeply felt within. They're not loud. They're not flashy, right? So your mind, it wants to withdraw from the world right now. It wants a lot of quiet, It wants to stop drawing valuation from the past and from its fears of the future. It wants to just completely surrender to the present. And when you do that, then what will happen is you'll get a mix of those powerful, flashy mystical experiences, the one that are very external and visual, and then they'll stop, and then you'll get them more internal, and you will begin to love the ones that are more internal. Okay? Yeah. Regan, yeah, you can have a message. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong if something has to change in his education. And then if it has to change again, and then if it has to change again, it doesn't mean you didn't hear spirit. It doesn't mean you didn't hear your higher self. Remember, the educational system is collapsing and shifting in all times. So don't worry so much about it. It didn't mean that you heard it wrong. So something's going to change there for your child, like 3 different times. I know that's scary as a mom, but just you're on the right track. You are listening. It doesn't mean you made the wrong move. It's just systems are collapsing. They're changing, you know? So, all right, guys, we've been at it for an hour and a half. I think I'm going to go. We're going to do this again, not this upcoming week, but the week after that. We'll do it again on Patreon, and it'll be called, what is that reading class called? It's a whole hour to hour and a half's worth of reading. What did we decide to call it? Meet Your Ancestral Soul. So we're going to go more into talking to the soul as opposed to just the higher self. And that link is at the top of the chat. Thank you so much for spending time with me here. And I love you guys. You rock. I'm sorry I couldn't keep up with every single question, but things were coming through super fast and I don't see well, but I appreciated connecting with you. And we'll try to do it again. I keep saying we're going to do this soon, but then there's so many beings that want to come through and channel as well. So thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.